Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and all who are joining online today. We begin this morning with a musical prelude by Scott DeVoe. That was beautiful. Thank you, Scott. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Greg Townsend. My pronouns are he and him, and I am pleased to be leading worship this morning with the Reverend Tim Temerson, music director Scott DeVoe, and the UUCville Choir. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. You should be able to unmute now if you wanted to. Maybe
Thank
not.
you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
That's Juliana.
Hey.
Hi, Juliana.
Morning, Phoenicia Shore.
Hi.
We offer a special welcome. We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. We invite you to use one of our red coffee mugs and stop by the newcomers table, which will be located in the social hall. UUCville members and friends are reminded to offer a warm welcome to anyone with a red mug. There was a live stream of the service in the social hall, and while everyone is welcome here in the sanctuary, the social hall can be a good option if you need a roomier space. Many thanks to all the folks helping to share worship both here and online, our greeters, ushers, and hospitality teams, and a special thanks to our AV Tech team led by Rachel Buckland. And now we have greetings from Board President Pam McIntyre.
Had to do this. Good morning. Welcome. In these increasingly difficult times, I find that our mission of love and action is having even deeper meaning for me. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you, building a community with a foundation of love and kindness and caring. Our long-range plan is wonderful, and we're doing so much, bringing love into action in our small community and in the larger Charlottesville community. And we're making a difference. Yet, with all that's happening and all the turmoil of our country these days, I've been asking myself, what else can we do to make a difference? How can we bring our UU values even more out into the world? When we work together, we can be so powerful. And that's one of the biggest reasons I'm here at UUCville. In the face of all that's happening, we need to increase our advocacy and justice work beyond what we're already doing. We will add funds for this effort to our proposed budget, and we hope that our pledge drive will overwhelmingly support this. The world desperately needs us, and our message of respect and dignity for all people, of the connectedness of all people and our planet, and the importance of love and kindness and caring. We need to increase our action to meet this desperate need. To begin, I invite all of you to stop by our new action table after the service in the social hall to let us know what you're doing with our congregation, with other groups, and on your own. And this will be a source of inspiration for all of us. And we also want to know what your ideas are for additional advocacy efforts that our congregation should take. As always, I'm very grateful to be with all of you today. UUCville helps my heart stay strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. I've been asked not to say anything special about her, so I won't. I have a few announcements. Actually, more than a few announcements. Immediately following the service, please join the Ministry of Earth for a sustainable potluck in the social hall. All are welcome to enjoy a vegetarian or vegan lunch, even if you are not able to bring a dish to share. At UUCville, everybody eats. Woohoo! Next Saturday, there will be a memorial service and reception for Satyendra Huja here at UUCville at 3 p.m. We are expecting a sizable turnout, and we encourage UUCville community members who do not have mobility concerns to park on the street, leaving the Summit and Edgewood Lane lots available for those who are unfamiliar with our neighborhood. Next Sunday is the kickoff for the 2025 UUCville Pledge Drive. Please join us for the service, followed by a big party in the social hall, where you will be invited to make your pledge to the 2025-26 UUCville budget. Pledge forms will be available, as will delicious snakes and sheet cake. And speaking of cake, we will also say goodbye to our religious education assistant, Caroline Hines, next Sunday. Caroline has been an invaluable part of the religious education program for 10 years, and we are sad to see Caroline go, but so happy for her exciting new job. Please be sure to thank Caroline for all of her years of service at UUCville next Sunday in the social hall. Clint and Mary Sherrill will be signing people up for a vegan cooking class in the hallway outside the social hall after the service. Please stop by if you're interested. Many thanks to all who joined us for the protest at UVA on Friday in support of gender-affirming care. Approximately 20 people from our church community braved very cold temperatures to make their voices heard and to put love into action. We also want to thank those who wrote emails to the Board of Visitors. While the BOV did allow the continuing of gender-affirming care for those 19 and under, who are existing UVA patients. Those seeking gender-affirming care in the future will be turned away. We want to say to all our trans siblings that we are with you and that UCVille will not stop speaking up and speaking out. Trans rights are human rights.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. So as you can see, I'm kind of taking the side role today and letting Greg do all the heavy lifting. So thank you, Greg. But we do want to offer a call to worship this morning to begin with by Reverend Joan Javier Duval. You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises.
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whatever is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment.
You are beloved and you most certainly are welcome here.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 170, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. Please be aware that while the message is timely, the song was written in the 1980s, and some of the words are a reflection of the time. I now invite John and June Mayer to light our flaming chalice. Will you please join in saying our chalice lighting words? We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. We're going to do hand motions. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds. This is a church of helping hands. This is a church of loving hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful and powerful. A wonderful musical piece written by the great E.C. Barnwell and sung by Sweet Honey in the Rock, among others. So thank you all so very much. So now, friends, it's time to sing our children off to their religious education classes. So will you please join in singing them off? By the way, in case you all were wondering, Reverend Leah is taking a much-deserved Sunday off. The Women's Dream Quest happened on Friday and Saturday, and she's a little tired. So she's getting a well-deserved opportunity to sleep in today. So as you heard earlier, the pledge drive will be kicking off next Sunday, and we are, in the weeks leading up to that, we are inviting members and friends of our congregation to come forward and briefly offer a testimonial and share with us what the congregation means to them and why they decide to make a financial commitment. And today we're very blessed to hear from Keith McGlamory. Keith, come on down. That sounds like the Price is Right, doesn't it?
Good morning. As Reverend Tim said, I've been asked to say a few words about the pledge drive. As Rachel, when you have a chance to, got it. Okay, good. As stated in our values and covenants, love and action is both our individual and our collective commitment as Unitarians. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. Since joining this congregation not quite 2 years ago, my wife Sammy and I have been repeatedly impressed and inspired by the actions of so many members who give unselfishly of their time to church and community activities. Many of you contribute tens of hours of your time to enable this congregation to address the issues of hunger and other physical needs in the larger community, and also trans issues, as you heard earlier from Pam McIntyre. This congregation supports aligning our individual and collective actions as a religious community. We are accountable to one another for living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Understand, UUCville is a reliable presence in the community, supporting minority populations when other churches cannot or choose not to do so. Of course, monetary contributions support our ministers and other church employees, as well as the needs of the church facilities. Others can provide more specific information about these should you need them. Pam and I didn't coordinate our comments, but as she said, the needs are increasing with all of the turmoil on multiple fronts from the political powers that be. Given the budgetary needs coupled with the thoughtful stewardship by the board, Sammy and I have decided to increase our pledge this year. You know your financial resources and needs and whether you can pledge additional amounts for the church budget. Please realize that your contributions do make a difference to this congregation and the services provided by UUCville in the larger community. I urge your thoughtful consideration of this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. Everyone is invited to come forward as you wish and place a glass stone in a communal bowl of water as a symbolic act of each being held by the larger love that holds us all. All are welcome to participate, including those who are new to our congregation. Those online may type their joys or sorrows into the chat. Patty Wallens from the pastoral care team will come forward to help hold the space. Patty will be available for a few minutes after the service in the back corner of the sanctuary if you are in need of support or just want someone to listen. Those online can contact the pastoral care team at pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. Let us begin our ritual. This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of February is for Impact. Impact is a multi-faith coalition of more than 30 local congregations organizing to empower citizens to create significant change through direct action. Our congregation was one of the founding members of Impact, and the work of our members involved with Impact has helped build strong relationships across racial, ethnic, socioeconomic, and religious lines. Rachel, please show us the social action slide for giving for those who would like to make a donation to Impact now. Thank you. In addition to giving online, if you would like to make a donation to Impact with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and then place your offerings in the collection plate. Please make checks out to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville and write Social Action Collection in the memo line. Along with our Social Action Collection, we invite everyone to financially support the ministries and mission of this community. Through your pledges and the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support UUCville and enable us to put love into action. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you can offer your financial support by using the text address or going to our website. You may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Let us now dedicate all the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good." Our reading this morning is excerpts from Let America Be America Again by Black poet Langston Hughes. The poem was published in 1936, so some of the language is outdated, but the message is up to the minute. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free.
Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath. But opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe.
I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient, endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land.
I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today, despite the dream.
Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea. And torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free.
Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again.
America never was America to me. And yet I swear this oath, America will be.
Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Here ends our very, very powerful reading. I'd like to invite us to rise in body or spirit, and let's join in singing hymn number 325, Love Makes a Bridge. Now, if you're using the hymnal, we're only going to be singing verses 1, 3, and 5. But the lyrics will be on the screen. Please rise.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I was delighted when Rev Tim suggested that we do a service revolving around DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and doing the service indicates that this is a subject to be taken seriously by this congregation. And of course, I think that most of us know that these are trying times for DEI efforts. I want to start off by making sure that we're all on the same page with what this is all about. When people think about diversity, they often think about the things that are more or less readily identifiable by individuals about themselves that distinguish them from some others. That means characteristics that are innate, such as race, gender, sexual orientation, ethnic heritage, etc., as well as features that come by lived experience, such as family, geography, education, first language, socioeconomic status, and others. But these are not what's really important about diversity. What's really important is what a person brings to the table, such as their individual goals, priorities, communication styles, problem-solving skills, management strategies, perspectives, interpretations, and so on. It is the interplay of those elements between individuals of disparate backgrounds that drive innovation, creativity, outside the box thinking, and ultimately success. But those things are hard to get a handle on, to identify, to quantify. So the others serve as surrogates, and for the most part are adequate. And all of those elements are just as crucial to a person's ability to succeed as whatever measure of intelligence is used to compare people. So when someone asks, my child did better grades than this brown-skinned child did, so why did that kid get into Harvard rather than mine? The answer is, because there are many more predictors of a person's ability to thrive at Harvard that are taken into account than just their high school grades and SAT scores. The economist mathematician Scott Page asserts that when problem solving, diversity trumps ability under certain conditions. The problem must be hard, problem solvers must be smart, the group of problem solvers must be more than a handful and drawn from a large population, and the problem solvers must have diverse problem solving skills and perspectives. To that point, there was a study at Harvard Business School in which a class was divided so that one group consisted of a group with the highest grades in the class, which are almost exclusively white males, while another group of the same size consisted of students from the class selected at random, which is mixed by race, ethnicity, and gender. The groups were given the same problem to work on, and the solutions to the problem were evaluated in a blinded manner. The end result was that the solution from the group taken at random, which was diverse in many aspects, was judged to be more creative and better than the solution taken from the group of top students, which is more homogeneous. Equity and its ally justice are best represented by these images. Rachel, there we go. I expect that many of you have seen the equality versus equity graphic with kids of different heights at a fence surrounding a baseball field. I prefer this. In this graphic, you see that equality means that everyone gets the same benefit. In this case, a single box that may or may not help them to see the sunrise. Or, I don't know, it might be a sunset. It's hard to tell from here. Equity means that everyone who needs a benefit gets the benefit that they need to see the sunrise. And justice means that the barrier to seeing the sunrise has been removed for everyone, so that no extra benefit is needed. Shortly after I assumed the diversity role at the UVA Med School, I had a meeting with several members of the upper level administration about potential strategies to improve racial and ethnic diversity among our faculty. I suggested that one of the things that we could do would be to redact information on their resumes about where a person was trained so as to remove biases, both negative and positive, associated with those institutions. The dean responded by saying that he didn't like the idea because if he was comparing candidates who had fairly equal resumes, but one had trained at Harvard and the other had trained at North Dakota State, he would take the one from Harvard because they would have been better trained. I responded by saying that I would take the one from North Dakota State because they had achieved just as much as the one who trained at Harvard without the benefit of a presumably superior Harvard training. Just imagine what they could do with our resources behind them. That's what equity is all about, making sure that everyone has the resources they need. Inclusion is probably the hardest DEI element to explain, but it's a product of a deliberate process of creating a climate and culture in which everyone feels that they are valued, respected, have a significant voice, and belong there. And achieving some measure of diversity will be a wasted effort if many individuals do not feel included. Among its many other benefits, more on that later, recruiting and retaining a diverse group of individuals tends to force institutions to assess those individuals as individuals, rather than as stereotypical representatives of a homogeneous group with which they may be identified. And individualized assessment, training, and participation can only maximize the success of those individuals. All of these seem to me to be reasonable goals. So why is there such a pushback against DEI these days? Well, I think that people who oppose or at least wary of DEI largely fall into one of three camps. At one extreme are people who, for philosophical/ethical reasons, believe that providing benefits preferentially to one group versus others is unfair and not in keeping with the goals of an egalitarian society. Of course, the problem with that stance is that we're already providing benefits preferentially to some groups versus others, which is exactly the problem that DEI is trying to solve. The people who fall into this camp are either unaware of this fact, which seems unlikely for most, or are willing to ignore it in service of sticking with their principled stand. At the other extreme are people who are consciously determined to oppress individuals from groups that have been marginalized, disenfranchised, or disempowered. And clearly, DEI efforts are a threat to that end. We're probably not going to make much headway in getting people from either of these camps to reconsider. But I think that in the middle, for most people with a problem with DEI, it comes down to this quote: when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression. If you look at life as a zero-sum game in a society with finite resources, and you see someone else getting something that you're not getting, the logical conclusion is that something is being taken away from you. But the problem with that thinking is that it's not a zero-sum game, which is why we may be able to get some traction with people in this group. Most of the pushback against DEI work is being seen in the workplace setting. Ironically, studies on diversity in the workplace, which is in the environment in which most DEI studies have been done, demonstrate that these efforts benefit everyone in the setting. More diverse companies are more likely to hit their financial goals than those are less diverse. Companies with diverse leadership outperform less diverse competitors financially. Employees at companies with active DEI programs tend to feel safe, respected, and connected. Inclusive environments boost employee engagement, retention, and productivity. Diverse teams innovate faster than more homogeneous teams. Inclusive companies are more likely to lead and capture new markets. All of these outcomes benefit all of the employees at these institutions, not just the employees who are perceived to be benefiting directly from the DEI initiatives. Despite what you may have heard about the hiring of unqualified individuals as air traffic controllers, no company, educational institution, religious organization, governmental agency, or nonprofit is going to hire someone whom they don't think is qualified to do the job. And no school is going to admit someone whom they don't think will be able to make the grade. Unless, like a certain now shuttered real estate training school, you're just in it for the money. Legitimately training and accommodating employees and educating students and other learners costs money, and institutions hate to waste money. So when you hear someone complain about DEI hires, you can respond with, assuming that someone's a DEI hire because their background can stem from implicit biases. Let's give credit where credit is due. Unless that company is aiming to fail, you can be sure that that person was hired because of their impressive qualifications and experience. DEI makes sure that a company maximizes the talent pool from which it draws to enable it to find the best candidate. The belief that DEI disadvantages certain groups, particularly white individuals, stems from misunderstanding. DEI doesn't mean giving preferential treatment. It means removing barriers so that everyone competes on a level playing field. In fact, white employees and employees from other groups that are traditionally in positions of power and authority also benefit from DEI activities. They benefit from inclusive leadership training that fosters better management skills. They benefit from flexible work policies designed to support diverse employee needs, thus benefiting parents, caregivers, and more. They benefit from mental health initiatives driven by inclusive workplace cultures, and so on. In the end, DEI does not ensure that certain groups have preferential treatment, but rather that none do. It isn't about taking opportunities away from one group to give to another. It's about expanding opportunities for everyone. In the words of Alicia Keys at this year's Grammy Awards, DEI is not a threat, it's a gift. Reverend Tim.
Service and had the good sense to invite you to do most of the talking today. You know, I have to say that I always feel like I'm making a mistake when I'm sitting up here with you because I feel like I really should be down there taking notes because everything you say is just so on point and so spot on. So thank you so much for today's service. Just want to say a couple of quick things before I just make a few brief comments about what Greg said, and especially how it applies to Unitarian Universalism. So first of all, I want to thank all of you who are here and online who attended the protest at UVA on Friday. And I've got a few pictures here. You'll see them. There's Bev Gorham holding up a sign that she made. I also want to show appreciation for those of you that attended the protest sponsored by Indivisible last Monday, which I think 1,000 people attended, and I know many from this congregation were there. I just want to say that our congregation, no matter what the Board of Visitors does, no matter what the current administration does, we will continue to protest harm being done to those who are on the margins. Harm done to our democracy, to our legal system, to our healthcare system, education, free speech. I wish the list was not that long. You know, I'm sure some of you have read that wonderful little book by Timothy Snyder that he published some years ago called On Tyranny. He's got a new book out now called On Freedom, which I have not read yet. But in that book, Snyder calls out something that he calls anticipatory obedience, which he defines as giving one's consent to authoritarian behavior even before you're compelled to. In my view, that's what UVA did when they first suspended gender-affirming care 2 weeks ago, and I think that's what the Board of Visitors did again on Friday. I can only hope that that decision will be reversed. About anticipatory obedience, let me say this. The UU Congregation of Charlottesville and Unitarian Universalism as a whole will be a religion and a congregation of anticipatory resistance, not obedience. Resisting the temptation to give up and give in is not easy. It takes courage and bravery, resilience, and faith in the power of love and truth. I confess I've been feeling a little uncertain, a little wishy-washy at times since Inauguration Day, and my perspective, and I would even add my spine, has been stiffened in recent weeks by my ministerial colleagues and by talking with many of you. That leads me to the topic of today's service, Unitarian Universalism as a religion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As you saw earlier, when Keith gave his testimonial, last summer at our General Assembly, our denomination voted to lift up these values as being central to our faith tradition. And as you can see, equity, pluralism, and justice are part of these core values. And that's precisely why I chose to call today's service, Why Unitarian Universalism is a DEI Religion. But you know, the more I thought about it, the more I came to realize that that title's a little off. What I should have titled today's service was, Why Unitarian Universalism Aspires to be a DEI religion, or why we're on a journey to become a DEI religion. The simple truth is we're not there yet. We still struggle with things like implicit bias, and there are times when our commitment to honoring the dignity and worth of all falls short. That's precisely why one of the core priorities in this congregation's long-range plan is to become more welcoming, more inclusive, a safer space and community for all, including and especially for those who have been historically marginalized in this faith tradition. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are at the heart of Unitarian Universalist values, but we still have a ways to go to turn those values into reality. So, Greg, let me just say that I agreed with everything you said. Whew, that was bold, huh? And everything you said resonated. As I was listening from my position as a person of extraordinary privilege and as a Unitarian Universalist, I appreciated the way you framed it, that DEI is about removing barriers, not giving preferential treatment. And that at times, embracing DEI as a person of privilege can feel like giving something up rather than gaining something essential that will enable me and my life, and yes, my spiritual journey to flourish. DEI is not a zero-sum game. I think that's going to stick with me for a long time. But at the near the beginning of Greg's talk, he said something about why diversity is so important that really rang true for me in my own experience as a Unitarian Universalist. I would say that I have experienced the spiritual and religious equivalent of what Greg described, and here's what he said. What's really important about diversity is what a person brings to the table, such as their individual goals, priorities, communication styles, problem-solving skills, management strategies, perspectives, interpretations, and so on. And it is the interplay of those elements between individuals of different backgrounds that drives innovation, creativity, outside-the-box thinking, and ultimately success. Yeah. And in Unitarian Universalism, it's the interplay of our diverse spiritual and theological backgrounds and ideas that drive creativity, spiritual growth, and that come together to create unconditional love. I can't tell you how many times in my years as a UU that I have experienced the spiritual equivalent of what Greg is describing. My journey and my life have been enriched and transformed by our spiritual, theological, and other forms of diversity in Unitarian Universalism. I've been blessed as a UU to journey with people from a wide variety of religious backgrounds, who follow diverse spiritual paths and practices, who have different beliefs and different answers to the great questions of life. In Unitarian Universalism, spiritual and theological diversity are never a reason to exclude, to demean, or to force everyone into one theological box, to find truth in only one sacred text, or to journey down only one spiritual path. It is our embrace and celebration of the diversity among us that has enriched and deepened so much my personal search for truth and meaning, and it will always lead me to say with pride that Unitarian Universalism is most assuredly on the path to becoming a DEI religion, and it is for that reason that I will always be proud to call myself a UU. Amen, and blessed be. So we've been talking about a lot of things today, but one thing that is coming up a lot is bravery, courage, and resilience. So Greg selected a song, a popular song, Brave by Sarah Bareilles. I don't know how many of you know that song. So we're going to watch her sing that song in the video, and the lyrics will be on the screen, so you are most invited to sing along. It's a great song.
Maybe. Let's all be brave. Reverend Tim, you can extinguish the chalice. While Reverend Tim is extinguishing the chalice, I will leave you this words from the late Reverend William Sloane Coffin. Reverend Coffin was a United Church of Christ minister and chaplain at Yale, and was an anti-war activist and a fierce advocate for civil rights. He was jailed for his activity as a freedom writer. For those of you who read the comics, he was a model for Reverend Sloane in Doonesbury. In 1999, he published a collection of essays on public morality titled "The Heart is a Little to the Left." In it, he wrote this: "Diversity may be the hardest thing for a society to live with, and perhaps the most dangerous thing for a society to be without. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are perceived as problematic by some people, but they are essential elements of a happy, healthy, forward-moving society. They do not appear by magic. They are the products of commitment, passion, knowledge, effort, resilience, and resistance. It is up to us individually and collectively to see to it that we all are beneficiaries of their existence." Thank you.
Yeah.